The SNAP program has undergone modifications this year, affecting 42 million citizens participating in the program. SNAP benefit amounts vary based on people's household size, monthly income, and other expenses. The program sets restrictions on both net and gross monthly income broken down to household size. But the barrier to acquiring food aid in Michigan has been lowered. It is Governor Gwich'in Whitmer, signed a bipartisan bill removing the asset test as a requirement to receive SNAP benefits. And according to the Michigan Executive Office of the Governor, the move will offer greater financial security to those who need it the most and ease the burden of receiving aid. Michigan is now one of the 37 states with similar laws, and the governor says people who had more than $15,000 worth of assets, including vehicles and savings, were disqualified for food assistance. Officials say that 500,000 children in Michigan will benefit from the limited asset, and now in Maine, all recipients of the SNAP program will have their monthly benefits delivered to them by today. SNAP benefits are distributed to eligible residents from the 10th to the 14th of every month, with all beneficiaries scheduled to have their benefits by the month of July by Friday. Now, the next round of SNAP payments will also begin on August 10th. The state of Texas will complete issuing SNAP benefits worth up to $1,700 for a month of July this week. Texas has a long window for issuing payments, lasting through the first 10 days in a month. Even the amount received depends on one family size. A single household will receive $281, and an 8-member household will receive $1,700. But on a federal level, some House representatives want to expand the number of food stamp recipients subject to work requirements and time-limited food benefits. By raising the age of people, members are writing the bill against the backdrop of extraordinary uncertainty in the economy and inflation, including the cost of food is so high that the Federal Reserve is willing to risk a recession to slow the prices down. Economic disruptions are caused by the crisis, and the robust labor market is expected to weaken in the months ahead. The past week, Democrats of the Department of Education announced that it will begin discharging student loan debts for borrowers who've been in repayment for 20 to 25 years under a one-time payment. Around 800,000 borrowers will benefit from this, and there will be $39 billion dropped. Joe Biden said the previous announcement is a one-time adjustment and will become an even more important lifeline for struggling borrowers than repayments start in September. The one-time payment adjustment the Education Department had counts certain months that were previously ineligible towards student loan forgiveness. But now, everybody, the Education Department announced a one-time payment adjustment for all direct loans and federally owned family education loans. Now, the adjustment to student loan accounts will go toward helping borrowers get closer to forgiveness under the income-driven plans. And after this adjustment, people should be getting stimulus payments because the one-time payment adjustment helps to reverse some of the damage caused by loan services that did not properly track deferments or steer borrowers to forbearance, instead of income-driven toward repayment payments, which would have continued toward years of payments. Some borrowers in the public service loan forgiveness program have already seen the payment adjustments in their accounts, so we know that's a good thing.
The worsening climate crisis has wrought destruction across the country, and Oregon is not immune from that devastation. Every year, our wildfire season becomes more severe. In fact, right now, there are 19 active wildfires in Oregon alone, burning thousands of acres, threatening properties, and upending daily life for hundreds of Oregonians. Yet, as the risk of wildfire has grown, our wildland firefighting capacity has fallen far behind. And that's where the Civilian Conservation Center Enhancement Act comes in. This bill will actually cut through the red tape to ensure the Forest Service can hire brave Americans who are ready, willing, and able to battle these blazes. I thank my colleagues.
A spokesperson for the Department of Education told CNN the Department of Education will begin beta testing the Student Debt Relief website. During the beta testing website period, borrowers will not be able to submit applications, or they will be able to submit applications for the Biden-Harris administration Student Debt Relief program. CNN has reported that anyone who applies for the debt relief in the beta period will receive a confirmation email, but the application will not be processed until the site formally launches. Once processing begins, most qualifying borrowers are expected to receive debt relief within weeks. The spokesperson also continued that these borrowers will also not need to reapply if they resubmit their application during a beta test, but no applications will be processed until the site officially launches later this month. Borrowers must have also federally held student loans to qualify. The Education Department will work to determine applicants' eligibility, and once approved, it will notify borrowers that their applications were sent to loan servicers to process debt relief. According to CNBC News, those loan services also ultimately will inform borrowers that relief has been applied. in addition to providing any details about outstanding loan balances and monthly payments, everybody. So as you can see, there's a whole bunch of stimulus checks, whole bunch of information to know. So hope you guys enjoy this video. Now, here's some important news. It's finally happening. Financial relief is actually underway for millions of Americans. Many people are expecting to receive thousands of dollars in extra stimulus cash, and you can get yours right now. Now, a fresh round of inflation data last week has been released, and it showed high prices, raising more questions about whether the Fed interest rate hikes are missing what many economists contend are the real inflationary culprits: corporate pricing, energy costs, and supply chain disruptions. The news is further stirring fears of unnecessary economic pain that should the Fed push America into recession. One economist told reporters raising interest rates is not working, and the Fed's overly aggressive actions are shoving our economy to the brink of devastating recession. Supply chain bottlenecks, a volatile global energy market, and rampant corporate profiteering cannot be solved by additional rate hikes, everybody. So, the Fed has some economists maintain that demand generated by a labor market that is hot and higher wages are driving inflation, and higher unemployment and interest rates are the solution. To that end, the Fed has hiked rates 5 times in 2022 and indicated more increases are to come. Moves the Federal Reserve Jerome Powell has acknowledged that there was going to bring some pain to households and businesses. Now, data shows the Fed is actually making some progress on this, and its aims to fix mortgage rates and soaring home and sales are plummeting. Meanwhile, the last employment numbers are showing a sharp decline in job openings, as well as slowing job and wage growth. But Thursday's consumer price index numbers for September revealed the approach has yielded few gains on pricing. Inflation inched up again to 8.2%, while month-to-month declined 0.1% in August and again in September. Now, a former Fed economist told reporters that the price drops are not materializing because current inflation largely is not demand or labor-driven, as it is often during inflationary periods. High inflation is not workers' fault, but the Fed is waging a war on U.S. workers, and now the Federal Reserve Board Vice Chair even acknowledged that the roles of pricing and supply chain disruptions are actually affecting many businesses across the country. Because skyrocketing demand for durable goods coupled with supply chain problems created enormous pricing power for companies that they can't deal with, for companies that stock on hand at least. Typically, corporations attempt to widen margins by suppressing wages, but that changed during the crisis. And with Americans still in shock over jaw-dropping rising gas prices, a few proposals have floated around Congress offering some relief to drivers. In a bid to combat inflation and rising gas prices, the Chicago City Council has introduced the Chicago Moves Initiative. It aims to issue up to $50,000 and 50,000 prepaid gas cards of $150 and 100,000 prepaid transit cards of $50 to eligible residents across the city.
From Massachusetts, Mr. Auchincloss, who is also the Vice Chair of the full committee, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Long hearing, almost done. As we've been in this hearing, the Fed announced a 75 basis point increase.